Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to the Captain's Lounge. I am your captain, Captain Diesel. And for everybody watching, always remember, sound don't even work today. You're watching the Captain. Today, I have a really dope special guest with me today, man. Some of y'all may recognize him, some of you may not, but in case you do or you don't, I got Anime Sundays, man. How you doing?
What's going on, man?
Hey, bro, how you been, man? How was the? I know you had a packed weekend with Anime Sunday. Well, Anime Weekend. I say Anime Sunday, Anime Weekend.
Yeah, man. AWA was pretty crazy. I would say it's their first time they did it in the World Congress Center. So, and for those who don't know, that's where MomoCon is. So it was like a different little vibe. Still a good amount of people. Maybe not as many as back in the day, but the after moves was lit. The panels were good. We had a good time.
So how does AWA different? I guess maybe not culturally, but how does that differ from MomoCon? Like how do they approach it differently, being in the same area?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Well, the biggest difference is it's on different sides of the building because neither convention is still big enough to rent out the whole space. So they have to pretty much choose what side they're gonna be on.
Mm-hmm.
So the side that they are on is like one side of the street that I feel like isn't as convenient in terms of just the city in general. So I think MomoCon already kind of was beating them by that. But just to compare the two conventions, I definitely think MomoCon is the better con.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more organized, in my opinion. They have better guests. The panels are a little bit more culturally like close to home. And I can tell you as a brand, they definitely communicate way better because we had several like communication issues with in terms of doing Trap Sushi in the party.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, we rock with the people at AWOL a lot, and we really always appreciate working with them. But there are definitely some things they could do better. So, but
Now, this is your first time. Well, this is the first time I've had you on any of my stuff. So, for people that may not have known who you were before you arrived here, could you kind of explain a little bit of who you are, what you do?
Absolutely. You know me, man. Your boy Anime Sundays. Show where we talk about anime on Sundays. That's the whole premise. Anime content creator, debater, cosplayer, and host of Trap Sushi. Board member as well. We throw anime events in the Atlanta area, also other cities, convention areas, international as well, Tokyo. But yeah, man, yes, content creator, try to make it, like everybody else.
So, why Sundays?
Man.
Why Sundays specifically? Is there a reason behind that day?
Mainly, origin story is, when I had an old kind of private Instagram, I would, a lot of the, I guess, popular shonen at that time will come out in Japan on Saturday. So in America, they would come out pretty much at the same time on Sunday. And, back then, you didn't really have no Crunchyroll, anything of that nature. So you were trying to catch it on the pirated sites, keep that low.
Right.
When it came out on Sundays. So on my old IGs, I would always post like what I was watching, back-to-back shows, and just hashtag Anime Sundays. And I would get a lot of interaction with those story posts about, oh, what are you watching? Where can I do it? Whoop de whoop. So it started off kind of as like a recommendation channel, like a talk show channel, where we just talk about anime on Sundays. And now it has become what you see today, what I've small kind of situation we've built here.
Now to get into, we'll jump straight to the deep end, man.
Yeah.
I was trying to think about what exactly I wanted to talk to you about that you would have a lot of interest in. And this is something that I've seen a lot of discourse on since I've even been indoctrinated into the blurred community itself. The aspect of the anime big three, and I know there's been a lot of controversy around like there being new big threes or being big threes here in like the seinen stuff versus here in shonen stuff. Could you kind of explain the idea of the big three for people that aren't aware of what that is and like why that's such a coveted title in particular?
Well, yeah, I mean, the big three is the arguably what they call the most popular or at least most sold shonen um in one period of time that was just kind of dominating the shonen era when it was peaking. So the big three refers to nobody knows Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece, as they were all airing at the same time. And so now the big debate is, is there a new big three? What will we compare now to the old generation of anime that were running the shonen era, not only by popularity, but literally by manga sales? So that's kind of why there's always a debate, because every week it's a new chapter on top. It's a new bunch of following coming in. It's always something. I'm gonna post a story here while we talking.
There you go. So where do you like usually stand on the side of on the side of things in regards to the side of the fence? Because I know there's some people that like they're like, okay, we should update the big three now that we have a lot of new fans coming in and it's a new era of amazing anime like a Demon Slayer, My Hero that are really popular right now. Then there's the old guard of people that were here, they were the OGs, but they're like, no, there's forever and only going to be the big three. Like my guy in the chat saying there's no new big threes. But where are you kind of at on the side of things?
So I am definitely in agreement that there really will never be another big three. Like there just won't be three anime of the magnitude that they are now that were kind of running at the same time as Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. You feel me? You may argue that there will be other anime that are just as popular, maybe, or just as good even. But in terms of like what they were doing, actually like kind of cultivating an anime community worldwide, like they took it from just being an Asian style, form of artwork, whether it be Korean, whatever, Chinese anime, manga, to being a global like sensation. And they were doing it like rather quickly, like over the course of like a year or so. Like those three anime were like dominating the that space, especially for the arcs when that were all running at like the same time. Like I think like the Pain arc, I can't remember which arc it was in Bleach, but I know the Pain arc and the Marineford arc were, I believe, were going on at like the same time.
Right.
Like as they were airing. And then Bleach also had a crazy arc that was simultaneously airing. And it's like, dang. You know what I'm saying? Like at this point.
So what?
I don't know if we're going to get this recreated.
Because I'm trying to understand, because I'm still relatively newer in the, like I've been around for a minute in regards to watching a lot of this stuff, but in regards to like seeing how people perceive it, I'm kind of new to that. I'm trying to understand why exactly like people feel like there's no chance. Like you said, there will probably be anime that are just as good, if not better, in the future, if they're not already, depending on how you feel about certain anime. Money wise, like there's going to be another anime at some point, especially with the boom of fans that we have coming in, that's going to sell as much as these, and will likely like cultivate a similar type of community with the new fans coming in. I'm not saying we can get rid of the old thing. Why can't we update that in regards to like a different generation of fans?
Well, see, what I was actually going to say is, bro, that I don't agree. I agree that I don't think there will ever actually be a big, like a replacement to the big three, but I do think that there is something you can call the new gen big three. You know what I'm saying? I definitely think there is some anime or manga that you could really like. Most people will agree that this is a good new big three, or even if there's some interchanges, I still think people think that there is a new age big three to what's going on right now. My main concern about why I think there's a problem with saying the new big three, or it's like, oh, it's the big three now, is because there's always new anime coming out and at a lot faster rate. And they're all like projected to be like, some top selling mangas. Like the age of anime and manga is really in its new age, like its new zone. And so I just think that to say you have a new Gen Big Three, like officially, you're gonna have to like keep saying that.
Right.
And that's where I just kind of feel like that's why people are like, okay, no, the big three is the big three. You know what I'm saying? Then if you want to say after that is this big three, after that big three is this big three, you can. But I feel like a lot of people are just gonna be like, we're kind of removing the significance. You know what I'm saying? Of the original big three, because the original big three, like, pretty much was like, it's almost like you compare it to One Piece. It's like, it's the great pirate era. You know what I'm saying? Like, we get it. Like, when Gold Roger said there's a treasure, boom, that was it. Like, there hasn't been a great pirate era like that. But it doesn't mean there's not going to be another King of the Pirates. It's not going to be, there's another new age. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be new generation. But it's like, there's only one start to the great pirate era. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's kind of where I feel like people is going with it.
So I know that's been a big thing. Another thing I've noticed just from like me being in the different communities and the Facebook groups and Twitter and whatnot, I've noticed there being like kind of a pushback in regards to a lot of the OG fans that have been around for a while that went through the trials and tribulations of being new anime fans when it wasn't necessarily the coolest thing to be. What do you kind of say on this boom of like new people that are coming into it that they're not really they're not always, they're more casuals than anything else, obviously, like of anything else. But they're not like perceiving or even like giving a similar perspective to a lot of the OG fans. Like they like the anime for a completely different, more surface level reason. Are you one of those people where you just want everybody to come in for the sake of it being more popular, or do you try to like kind of gatekeep it just a little bit?
No, I don't try to gatekeep it at all, bro. I'm never gonna lie to you. I try to get as many people involved in anime as possible. I think that there's never anything wrong with introducing the masses to your art, because if the art is as great as we all say it is, as much as we all love it, it's going to achieve a certain level of mass interaction. And because of that, you're going to get even more wonderful creators, genius minds, more mangaka, more voice actors. You're going to get a lot of more people that can contribute to the greatness of the anime community and the manga community. And even though people are like, well, more people just cause it to be more toxic and people ain't really rock with anime lovers, that's going to happen anyway. And anything that happens, like, I'm sure when basketball was blowing up, Caucasian people only wanted it to them to be played. Then black people started playing. Now,
right.
Now we have LeBron James. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's just, I think that, it's nothing wrong with the people. And then, of course, as we grow as a culture, we become more rewarding to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We start to provide more jobs. Crunchyroll starts to open up more people start to hire people to voice act. Like, this is how we build our own community, especially as Black creators. I see my friends every day who are their own voice actors or manga creators. Corey Kenshin is about to drop his manga, his anime. Our DC World, you feel me? They about to drop a manga and anime. It's like they're going to be in position to employ their friends. You know what I'm saying? Other creators of color who can help. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a beautiful thing to see it grow, because as it grows, the people who have helped and always like contributed to the art form are going to eat with it.
Right.
So, that's why I think it's fine that everybody can, because at the end of the day, it's never people like, oh, it's anime people. Nah, it's just people. People are toxic. You have toxic football fans. You have toxic soccer fans. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Toxic people in the music industry. Like, anime industry is no different. You're going to have people hating on cosplayers, hating on artists who are cosplayers. You're gonna have people talking about how anime is this and that, and you know, it's always gonna happen.
'Cause
But
I feel like
think,
I've seen like just within like the last like maybe like 3 to 5 years, like a shift in just the way certain things or certain people are talked about, at least within the black side of the nerd anime community. When I'm looking at DreamCon and how that popped off, again, first year blew up, it was like such a feel good story where they got their con, it's doing well, everybody's coming out. And then the year before last, there's all that drama about organization or whatever was going on, and there being like a crate, like people were talking about marketing them in a way that I had never even thought people would, because they had been like black nerd Jesus for a minute now. They were the disciples for a little bit. Have you noticed that in regards to like a shift in the way at least our side of anime nerddom is talked about and within ourselves?
Yeah, man. I mean, unfortunately, man, even in our own community, uh, another brother doesn't really want to see you win.
Right.
I wish I could say better. I wish I could say, nah, bro, every black creator I've ever interacted with always had love, never hated, always wanted to see me go up. That's not the case. Matter of fact, it's almost, unfortunately, again, the opposite. It's a lot of, people rock with you when they see you're doing well, but they waiting for you to up. He's not on this game no more. He's not going viral no more. Up. You know what? He must not be that lit. Like, cats don't like to see RDC World keep hitting after and after. I love to see it personally because it means it's possible.
Right.
You feel me? People are always so worried. Oh, bro, well, you're not RDC. You're exactly correct. That's the point.
I feel like ever since people have realized it's a lot more money in it, there's been a lot of people that aren't necessarily fans of it. Because obviously you're going to have like the IG models that are going to do like the sexy cosplays that may not be fans. And I don't want to get in. I don't want to become those people that whenever a woman says she's an anime fan, they give them like the pop quiz. I don't want to become that person. But you can see some of those IG models and also some other content creators that will show up to these events and like put on the facade of being a nerd or and act really weird in the space.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you're going to have posers, bro. Listen, posing is how everybody made it in the early 2000s, bro. But cats was acting like when they was real gangster rappers, they weren't.
Right.
They was acting like real gangster rappers. Posing is in any community where people find it profitable. You feel me? So if people find cosplaying profitable, especially models or OF stars or whatever, and they find it profitable, they're gonna post, bro. They're not gonna do all that research for what? Watch all this anime for what? When I could just pretend.
Fair enough.
Well, I could watch a couple. And again, I don't think it's nothing wrong with you only watching a couple anime and saying you're an anime fan. You know, if you watch two anime and say, well, I like anime, guess what? You're one of us. My problem is people not respecting the nerds that are really deep in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just because you ain't watched 1,000 anime or been doing panels about Magic or World of Warcraft, don't mean you need to be coming in here talking mess or, trying to just get viral moments out of people who are, really introverted. And of course, man, but I think also this generation, though, is very view hungry, very click hungry. And so they honestly don't be caring about how you feel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they are more so like, even if they are anime fans, they don't care about the whole, respect the boundaries. No, they're trying to go viral. They know the not respecting the boundaries is going to go more viral than having a nice conversation with somebody at a convention.
Right.
Or, you know what I'm saying?
So, those clicks. One question I want to kind of get into this a little bit in regards to, because you spoke on the introverted nature of a lot of people in the community. And that's something that's been kind of I'll call it a stereotype, for lack of a better word, for a while. But for me, my first time, I think it was it was like a year or two ago, MomoCon with Blurred, where I attended my first Trap Sushi event. I was working the booth with him, and I think I may have met you there. I met like you and I think Jason, whatever else. Shout out Jason.
Yeah.
That was my first time because I've been to conventions and I've seen like black people gathered around, but that was the first time I saw people like nerds, like really lit and like really extroverted in nature. Is this something where it's been a tide, or do you feel like there's always been like this type of group of black nerds that's always been around? They just didn't have a place to congregate.
You definitely always been around, man. When I was still first going to conventions before COVID, there was a lot of black nerds doing stuff, very small stuff, but they were still doing stuff. They were getting together. I definitely feel that Trap Sushi has brought it to the next level for sure. But even before Trap Sushi started hitting its wind, there were other anime party groups and organizations doing it a couple years before us. We had in Atlanta, we had a Controllerize, which used to really be the most popular thing out here. But they kind of fell off for COVID and kind of like refused to kind of go back. And they didn't want, and we know those guys over there, they didn't want to keep getting it so big. They wanted to keep the setting a little more intimate. So their parties and events, they would not be trying to have a big old, sellout stuff. They had a couple of them, and then they was like, yeah, they're not trying to do that. We also had Lamb Party from New York. It's been in the game for a minute. Sonic Boombox, all those people. But I think that with Trap Sushi, we have kind of like branded a lot of I would say brought together a lot of like core nerd, people, core nerd, like just culture community, and also have brought like a lot of mainstream stuff together in terms of like the music and the artists. So I think that's kind of why we have been bringing it to the next level, because we begin the attention of like the music world, the mainstream world, artists like Duke Deuce and Tia Karain and Kyle, all these guys who performed at our events. But also, we have the core like cosplayers out here, the core content creators out here, RDC and Caleb City, all these people, all these people at our events. So I think that's why we've kind of taken it to the next level, because we've taken like kind of the depth of both worlds and kind of tried to merge it.
So when did you get connected with Lamb Party? Were you there from the start, or did you kind of come in later on? What's the history as far as your affiliation
with Trap Sushi?
Yeah.
So I think the shout out to the CEO and the CFO, True Brand, and Stephanie Williams, my best friends, family for life. I met them at AWA, I want to say 2021 maybe. I believe either 2021 or 2022, and I think it was 2021. And Troop had just, he liked my content. He'd always been seeing me do stuff, guest at other parties, host events, and he just wanted to know if I wanted to come through and host the second Trap Sushi ever. So they had one already. It was a very small crowd, nice little crowd. And he wanted to know if I'd come through and host the second one. And I was like, well, yeah, sure, bro. Gave him my hosting rate. And mind you, I hadn't been hosting that much, really. Maybe like once or twice before that. But I gave him my hosting rate and, helped promote the event for him. And the second one was a vibe. A good amount of people came out. We had a costume contest, et cetera, et cetera. And then he wanted me to host the third one. And I was like, sure, bro. Like, let me help you as much as I can, right? So Troop again hired me for the third one, got me super involved. But this time I gave him a lot of pointers and information about how to market it, what guests you should have, who else should be involved, and let's just really get a lot of attention on this. You feel me? And that third one was like lit. It was like, okay, this is like an event now. Like we have at least 100 people here. So it was like, cool. And so then Troop, kind of just was like, yeah, man, we really want you to stay a part of the team. And, just kind of help us keep that ball rolling. And we, of course, we'll still hire you for et cetera, et cetera. So I just became pretty much staff right then and there. And over the months, me, Troop, Steph, and a couple other people, Jason, really got together to cultivate how to take it to the next level. And that was just pretty much doing after parties officially for the conventions. And so once we started doing that, we started getting some real big numbers. And then Troop also was a former writer at Atlantic Records. So he knew a lot of artists. So he started being able to get artists involved to perform. And that's kind of how we started really getting the best of the both worlds there. So now I'm just kind of the official host. I do a lot of the guest relations, and I'm on the board. But yeah.
So when did the connection with Blur come in then? I know Pearl Mumford from work with them like the last 2 or so years.
Yeah.
So when did that connection arrive?
I think I met the boys at Blurred really around the same time I met the boys at Trap Sushi. Maybe even before. I knew Blurred from working with a brand called Bad Wife, formerly known as Bad Waifu Official. Her new brand name is Linyani. Great, super high quality women's anime fashion line, like talking top of the line, really. And she knew Blurred and them really well from being at conventions and stuff. And that's kind of how we all met up and got coordinated. And then really, Blurred, they've been doing their thing. You know what I mean? They've been at the cons, holding it down, being the voice of the people, doing a lot of stuff. And so I think old buddy just reached out to Troop and was like, yeah, bro, like we love to be vendors and all that. And Troop was more than happy to have them. And I know Blur's even like sponsored DreamCon. I think they do a lot of stuff, man. They're great, dope guys. That's kind of how I got involved with them. And, we've always been cool ever since. Anytime they've needed some content, I've always tried to help them. Make sure that, we always recognize what they, shine the light on what they doing. But yeah.
To get into this content stuff, because we've been real cordial up until this point. One thing that's taken the content world by fucking storm over the last like 2 or so years have been the 20v1s, the white rooms, the 20v1s. Because I was going down a rabbit hole looking at your content, and I see you did a couple of them, and I noticed that they were a lot healthier. I guess the best word for them. I didn't see as much crazy shit going on. How do you go about structuring your 20v1s versus the real nasty ones that we've seen that have been the bane of my existence? Because some of them I fucking hate. I can't stand them. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, but that's just me though.
Yeah, no, bro. The 20v1s I purposely made the anime version to be kind of like a parody / fight against what you normally see in that community.
Right.
Because when you're looking at the 20v1s, like you said, super toxic, super ignorant, out of the wild, type of stuff. Putting some of them putting us back 100 years. You know what I mean? I wanted to make one that showed that the anime community is nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? That we have common sense. We could have intelligent conversation. It could be chemistry, but it doesn't have to be freaky. It doesn't have to be over the top. It could be a normal, respectful type of video that's fun to watch if somebody tried to put the effort forward. And so, me, I designed the entire, thing. I write all the questions. I plan out all the rounds. I invite all the guests. Trap Sushi may sponsor like the white space sometimes, but very proud of those projects. I'm actually going to get back on them. Hopefully this month, man. It's been hard to trying to get some crowdfunding for them. But going to try to get at least one more before the new year. And then, in the new year, we have some more white space ideas. I do have some balloon pops coming. A shout out to Beltline Cosplay. They did their own balloon pop version. They kind of just beat me to it. But I had a version of my own that I kind of wanted to tap in. So, just more projects like that on the way, man. Just trying to get as much crowdfunding as possible.
How did you go about? Because obviously the networking is one thing, but it seems like there's a lot of different connections you have, the different, like you said, cosplay orgs or party orgs, especially around Atlanta, but in general, how do you go about like navigating that space to kind of find out who's who in certain areas? Is it something where you're going to every event, or are you just hitting them up on social media? And this is more so just a question for, I guess, more creators or people that just want to be a part of different stuff. Like, how do you go about getting to know or meeting all these people?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, man, I'm just kind of, I guess, drive myself or I pride myself in just being a decent networker and just kind of like genuinely building relationships with people. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these guests, all these creators that I've known for like I've known these creators for years. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't really a matter. Yeah, I probably made videos when I first met them, and like whoop de whoop, just always supported them. But like just being genuine, bro. Like literally, like if you get in the space with big creators and you have something going on, but you're like, well, how do I properly, connect with this person without seeming like I want something? You just gotta be genuine, bro. You know what I'm saying? Be a genuine person. If you support the person, say, yo, bro, hey, you want to say I support your content? You know what I'm saying? Love what you do. I do this. You don't gotta follow me. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying? But if you ever, you know, need something, especially if it's like art or if people do merch, whatever. If you ever need something, bro, I'm right there for you. You know what I'm saying? And then people will be like, okay, bro, what do you do? You feel me? You show them, or next thing you know, they may be interested. They're like,
Right.
okay, let me check it out. Because anybody who's ever asked me to follow them or check out their content, bro, I've genuinely looked at their page, checked out their content. You feel me? Seeing what they got going on. And, some people, I think some people get offended too easily. Oh, why didn't, Mark Phillips follow me right back? Christ. He's not gonna follow you right back, bro. He's been in the game a long time. You feel me? He's not just connected with every person that asks him to follow him.
Right.
And, but I tell you what though, I was making videos one day and RDC just followed me. You know what I'm saying? We just had conversation. Maybe prior. Next thing you know, they reposted my stuff. And I'm like, you see, like people will, if they rock with you, they're gonna do it on their own. You don't need to try to, it's the same thing with like Berleezy or anybody else, Vader, people I try to call like, I would say I call like my friends now.
Right.
I just rocked with them. Just stay genuine. You know what I'm saying? Support goes a long way when it's genuine. And they're like, any guests that I have on a 20v1, like they're my friends. Nike and Blaze are my homies. You know what I'm saying? I've known them years. My senpai, we was making TikToks at the same time. You know what I'm saying? She's been the biggest in the game now. Keats, that's my guy. He runs the merch with me, and other business stuff with Trap Sushi now. And we have some more guests we're gonna get going. But that's really the main thing.
Do you have a creator that was like that wow moment for you? Like, I'm really talking to and working with this individual here. It's somebody I watched for a while.
I've always kind of been in the entertainment industry, even like out of school. Like I was a film major, whoop. So I never was like over too gassed to be like, oh man, I'm so shocked that I'm working with this creator. But it always does feel good working with a creator that is you've recognized and respect for a long time. I would say for me, the first time I ever felt like I was really like in a great space as a creator when I first was on Vader's project. He was doing a Game of Thrones parody thing, but I don't think he told me, I think he ended up telling me he didn't really like how it came out, so he never posted it. But it was like a whole super project. We in costumes fighting on the field. It's a whole thing, you feel me? And I just ended up having a conversation with him, doing a little interview, and ended up getting invited by somebody else to the kickback that they was having at his house.
Oh, damn.
So went over there. Yeah, went over there, talked to bro. We kind of became cool, and then as time went, as we became mutuals, etc., now we homies because he sees that I'm a genuine person and he's a genuine dude. You know what I'm saying? Always looking to put people in the best moments. Aside from that, I mean, everybody else I've met that's a big creator, and I've always just been honored to converse with them, learn from them, and see what they got going on, see how much they've really built. RDC, I've always been cool with those boys. Berleezy, we became cool a few years ago. Yeah, anybody else, it's just always been just like, happy that, there's other genuine people, at this
Right.
level. Mm-hmm.
To get into some of this nerd stuff, because I know people are probably like looking at it. When are we gonna get to the nerd shit?
No worries.
Obviously, from your background, you got a million different animes up the wall, and you got a One Piece hat on now. Do you have like if you had to give me like your top 3 personal favorite anime that you would say like your favorite big 3, I guess your personal big 3? What would you say?
Yeah, I mean mine's real basic, man, and everybody always says it's basic, but it is. It's One Piece, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z. That's real in that order, Love Naruto. Everybody thinks I don't, just because I like One Piece more. But I love Naruto. Love Dragon Ball Z. My top 3 anime. I mean, just because I love everything about Dragon Ball Z, what it stands for, what it represents. Only anime I feel like to this day, no matter what variation they put out of it, I'm still gonna be excited to watch it.
Are you watching Daima right now?
Yeah, I'm watching Daima. Of course, it's not the most in depth, like what's going on, but it's Dragon Ball Z, man. It's a good time. It's entertaining. My 4th and 5th are Hunter x Hunter and Attack on Titan. You know what I'm saying? Hunter x Hunter probably would be maybe even above DBZ if I feel like the endings were coming together. And Attack on Titan, I think it's just as a talk about just an anime based on plot. I feel like I gotta have AOT up there.
Do you fuck with the other subgenres like isekai or like mecha?
Yeah, I do, man. I watch a bunch of isekai. I honestly think there's too many now, but I do watch isekai. I do watch mecha, signings, and all that stuff, bro. Maybe I'll try to get into a slice of life here and there, but it's hard. It's hard. But yeah.
Now that we got that out the way, I wanted to just get the preliminary stuff. We're going to get into a little bit of a blind ranking game here. I'm going to give you a random anime, and this is going to be 1 through 5. You have to place this anime where you feel like it will rank 1 through 5. But keep in mind, though, that if I say like Dragon Ball first, and you put that at like number 1, and then I say One Piece next, well, now Dragon Ball is at number 1. It is what it is. So we're gonna start off with just a little softball with Naruto.
Well, I think for me, since Naruto is my number 2, I'll put it at number 2.
Okay.
Just to be safe. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Next up, we got I almost said Sword Art Online. I meant to say Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer's up there, and even when we were talking about the new gen big 3, I would consider Demon Slayer one of the new gen big 3. So I'll probably say, just because we don't know what's on this list, I'm gonna say a good 4.
Okay, that's not bad. All right, now this one may be a little bit more of a niche one. I don't know if you watched this one, but have you seen Claymore?
Claymore, I haven't watched all of Claymore. I think I watched a couple episodes. I heard it does get really good. But I can't say that it's one of my favorites. So I'll probably say a 5.
Okay. Now we're gonna get into Death Note. Where we putting Death Note at?
I'll say, hopefully the number 1 isn't crazy, but I'll say Death Note is 3. I think Death Note's in my top 10 for sure. One of the animes that first even introduced me to anime for real. Like in terms of actually going online looking for more of this type of style. Yeah, I'll say 3.
Okay. Get Death Note at 3. Black Lagoon.
Well, I guess I only got 1 spot left, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we can get all 3.
So Black Lagoon. I mean, Black Lagoon. I've actually seen I haven't finished Black Lagoon either. I'm not gonna lie. But I the action's really good in that one. Of course, you know I wouldn't have it as my number one, but it's not a bad anime at all by any means.
Right. So now we're gonna put this list out, and we're just gonna let everybody go crazy over the list. We're gonna have them think that you rank this in order.
Right.
One more thing I wanted to pick your brain on. It's something that I've talked with two different guests on since this happened, and it's not a major thing. But I'm assuming you're aware of all the drama around the 16-year-old artist who did the black version of Momo and Ken from Down to Dawn recently. It got a lot of heat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So where do you stand in that aspect? Because I've noticed that, well, at least for me, I don't ever hear too many actual Japanese people give their perspective on, one, how they even perceive anime itself, and then two, how they perceive Black people being so part. Because I honestly do believe that we're a major part of why it's so popular over here, personally, with how just we are as a people and culture setters in general. But how would you? I don't know if you've interacted with a lot of Japanese creators or with Japanese people in general. But how do we gauge that dynamic? Because if they do actually feel, because there was a guy that said he was Japanese and claimed that he didn't like that stuff, but obviously, you know, they're not a monolith, and as well, we don't know if that person was actually Japanese or not. But how do you feel like we should navigate that realm of, like, if they actually don't enjoy having characters that are supposed to represent them being blackwashed versus us having and seeking representation there? How do we navigate that fine line?
Well, I mean, I would say, bro, as somebody who's been to Tokyo and spent time with the people, I don't think most Japanese people care at all for it. They are very much super grateful for Black culture, and they say it all the time. Like, they say my favorite artist is Uzi or Jay-Z or whatever. They everything when you talk about art, media, they refer straight to Black people all the time. They love it. I was out there in a music video with Yuki Chiba, who has a song with Meg Thee Stallion, Watashi wa Sta, right?
Yeah.
He was doing the Team Tomodachi remix with Duke Deuce. And we was out there in the video. And he was so honored to have me in the video. And I'm like, I don't even rap. He was just happy. Like, oh, bro, yo, Duke, you brought some of your people. Yo, thank you so much for being in this video. Like, feel free to dance. Feel free to get lit with us. Like if you want to take the shine, go crazy. You don't even know me. This is the number one rapper in Japan. And he was so happy to have more Black people in the video. And you could say, well, maybe he just wanted to use y'all. But it's like, no, that's not what it felt like. It felt like he was really grateful that people from Memphis, you know, I'm not from Memphis, but Duke is from Memphis. Right. And the Team Tomodachi song gives that they're dancing Memphis jugging, right? They're doing all the dancing. He was happy to have some people that knew how to do it from America. He felt like he couldn't get much better. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with everything else. Like, voice act, like, they love Black voice actors and different. The Japanese are such appreciators of art and fashion and know that it comes from our culture. Even the Creepy Nuts people who made the Mashla and the Dandaran intro, said they got the inspiration from New Jersey club artists. Which has been, you know, and me, I'm from New Jersey, born and raised in East Orange. You feel me? All we know is Jersey Club. Like, that's our whole livelihood. So when we started even hearing it in other states, we was like, oh yeah, people really jocking us. And now it's the intro to Dandadan. You feel me? Like, they are super appreciative, bro, and they are super happy to kind of even have us, you know, so heavily involved that when people online say, well, I don't like seeing that, they're probably not really Japanese people, bro. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you know, unfortunately, racism, it's everywhere, man. And I don't think it's going anywhere for a minute. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I also think if you're going to speak out about racist problems that you see, you have to be prepared for the backlash. It's unfortunate that you have to be prepared, but it is the case. Shouts out to the voice actor of Takamichi, a young black man who spoke out to defend the artist because he also does okarun in English. He just hopped offline, deleted his Twitter. And I'm like, I feel you, bro. Protect your peace, protect your space. Right. But you must have known that the ignorance is going to come flying out the walls. People are going to start telling you shouldn't voice okarun. As if Mappa or whoever's the studio didn't hire you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, oh, you're just a voice actor, bro. We don't need you. So, I mean, again, of course, it's unfortunate that a young girl drew something like that and she's, getting dragged. But all I can say to her as she sees this is just stay strong, young woman. The black people who know, Black Twitter got your back for sure. Don't worry, they're gonna be there with you.
Right.
But there's always gonna be a fight, unfortunately.
Real quick, shout out to Joe Jones. Thanks for popping up into the building, man.
Joe,
I love seeing new
guy.
people. Appreciate you, big dog. Thank you to anyone that's watching this now or even in the future. I appreciate new people that are coming in. So thank you for your time. Even a second of it is I'm eternally thankful for. But yeah, next thing I kind of want to share, because we got a little bit of an aspect into the Japanese side of things when it comes to their culture and how they perceive a lot of it. Where do you stand on this? I'm doing a panel at BlurCon on cultural gatekeeping in general, because it's been something that I've seen been to be talked about all my life, essentially, in regards to Black people as a culture, us having to invent our own as far as American Black people, and then that being siphoned off of from every aspect of the world and every industry you can think of. And there's been a big narrative around gatekeeping that culture to make sure that we have more of it for future generations. I'm kind of at a weird side on it to where I feel like that you won't have your things grow unless you let other people in. And then, at least from my perspective, when I'm looking at especially rap music specifically, there are legendary verses, legendary pieces of music that are big within our culture that were inspirations of other cultures. Like I've seen Method Man talk about, I think it was his verse in The Mystery of Chess Boxing. I can never say this fucking song's name. Or I can't remember what song it was, but he was running. I think I saw it in an interview he had maybe on the Breakfast Club, where he was running down the different rock bands or verses that he flipped. And that was his inspiration for like that legendary verse. So from my perspective, I'm looking at how much we've grown. And again, a lot of our ideas are original. I'm not saying it's not, but to grow to the heights of what it is, or some of our favorite things are always inspired by something else. Where do you kind of stand on that precipice in regards to gatekeeping Black culture and kind of keeping it for us and allowing other people to be inspired by it and take it to different places?
Well, man, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think there's no point in gatekeeping Black culture, because for a long time, Black culture has been how a lot of Black people have made it out of poverty. You know what I'm saying? Like changed the community for the better and really helped us because they've, made it to the masses or let people kind of be copies of them, et cetera, et cetera. So I just feel like it's counterproductive for Black people to be like, no, we must gatekeep Black culture. It's like, of course, it's like we already, in hindsight, kind of do that, right? Because if something sounds Black, but it's not by a Black person, the first thing Black people are going to say is, oh, they copy Black people. Right? Which is like, might be the case, but doesn't mean that artist deserves to be, denounced or whoop-de-whoop. It's like, at some point, we have to recognize that Black culture will always kind of be the pinnacle of art throughout history. Like, and that may just be my opinion, but it's like, for the most part, even rock and roll stars, like the origins of like great pieces of work and great artists that were white often copied or stemmed off of Black people. So it's kind of like, that's kind of always going to be the case. I just think that, Black people need to just be more, they don't really need to do anything. I feel like Black people, when it comes to their art, their work, just try to do what you can to improve your way of life and help as many other people as you can that you love or of color. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's like that's kind of what most people are mad about. Because let me tell you, if people hear a song that sounds like a black person made it and a white person made the same song, and the white person don't get no attention, they don't get no money, people are gonna be like, oh well, it was a wash anyway. We don't really care. It was a flop. Like do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But people only care when it does better than the original, when they get more money when they're not eating. And it's like rightfully so, because once again, a white person has, taken something from you and profited off it, and you couldn't. So it's like, I just say, black people, all you can really do is try your best to make sure whatever you're giving your heart to art-wise, it helps your situation.
Yeah. And to your point, is something that I've also noticed where it's like it's usually a money thing. If it's just for the love of the art, for the love of the game, people don't care or don't really give it the same attention. But once you make money off of this thing that's supposed to be that is traditionally black culture, now it's a issue, which is, I don't know. I look at it kind of weird because I'll see other instances, and again, these are just a few instances, so I can't say it's the way things always are. But biggest example that I usually think of is the Whitney Houston "I'll Always Love You" song that she pretty much just remixed off of Dolly Parton originally. And Dolly was like, "Yeah, take that, do it, it's your thing now." And people see it as a Whitney song when it was originally a Dolly Parton song, but she just blew it out of the water with how great Whitney Houston is as a musician and a vocalist. I don't know, man. I try my best to, especially my content in general, to promote things I enjoy versus tear things down that I don't like. And you can obviously offer critiques to certain things, but I feel like there's been this influx of just new people that are new to a lot of art, and at least the way that conversations go around it. And it just made a lot of stuff inherently negative on the internet. I mean, the internet's already negative in itself, but like Twitter or Reddit or different chat rooms, it's like, if you say you like something, immediately there's like 15 reasons why you should hate it and why it's terrible in the comment section for it.
Yeah. Well, I think it also stems from just a mass need to have all eyes on you, man. Like, there is now just people, pages, whatever, who only say these things to get the counter action, to get the hate, to get the attention, to get the argument, because that's what never fails. Fighting, drama, controversy is always what is going to gain the most attention with people, especially online, especially when it can spread at light speed. So you're almost never going to have a situation where people are just only positively supporting something, unless it's like the universal things that are supported, like animals. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or like babies. You know what I'm saying? And even that can still get, crazy. But people's actual opinions on art, media, you're always going to have people saying, going against what you're trying to do just to go against it.
To be a person, I like to try to walk the walk of the talk that I talk in regards to promoting good things. Because, I've talked up a lot of your time. I don't want to hold you too much longer, but do you want to go ahead and tell the people that are watching potentially we'll say just like 2 things that you've consumed this year, whether it be a movie, a show, a manga, a comic that you really enjoy that you feel like needs more attention, maybe like where they can find that?
Let's see. I would say outside of anything that I've done,
it could be your stuff too. You could be well. I'm gonna let you plug your stuff like in a second anyway. But
yeah, no, I appreciate it, bro. I would say anything that I've done, or not even that I've done. I would just say, anime wise or manga wise, off the top of my head, nothing really super coming to mind. I'm always a big One Piece advocate. I just say my big thing is support your local content creator, man. I always recommend everybody go check out my boy Shona Showdown. Shout out Joe Jones, Life with Anime Podcast. Shout out that One Piece Talk. Just support the people who's grinding, man. I would say, yeah, anime wise though, man. I mean, I felt like I had a few hidden gems, but not really, man. I feel like everybody kind of knows about everything that's going on now because everything's so popular.
Right. I feel you.
Yeah.
I guess on my end, to your point, as far as I'll probably just start to content creators / business owners that I really appreciate that I did some stuff with. Midnight Comics. They're in Atlanta. I did a review for them, Black owned comic company, husband and wife. They do great stuff. I did a review on a couple of their stories not too long ago on the channel. So check them out, as well as my guy Comment over at Tappin' No Cappin'. Obviously, they do a lot of great stuff, and I think they have a debate tournament that is going to be coming out soon on the Blurred side of things. So you can catch them there on their own YouTube channel as well as on Blurred stuff itself. And Blurred in general. Blurred is going to, again, I have a little bit of inside information, so I can't say too much stuff because we signed that paperwork, so I can't say too much, but there's a lot of big stuff coming soon. So guys, just to stay on the know and up of stuff, check out the website, check out the social media platforms and all that good stuff, and you will find it there. But in regards to what you do and your content, you want to plug your platforms or different things you work on?
Yeah, man. So I say, y'all can follow me all platforms, Anime Sundays, Instagram, TikTok, Anime X Sundays. Really, just appreciate the support so far. Just look out for more debates, more streams. Catch me on Twitch. Look out for more 20v1s. Appreciate y'all showing love. Yeah, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man. No problem. No, thanks for coming on. Because I was reaching out there. I'm like, man, there's got to be more people in Atlanta. I need to start networking a lot more in my city. Because I'm always one place or another, and everybody I work with is always in Vegas or in LA. And I'm like, I live in Atlanta now. There's got to be a million different creators I just don't know or don't work with. There's a bunch
of folk out here, bro. I'm sure, if you need more folk, I could probably send some people your way, man. That might be able to hop on stream with you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Again, for anybody watching, let me check this. No, it's not working still. It is what it is. For anybody watching, again, thank y'all so much for coming in. This has been the Captain's Lounge. If you guys are unaware of who I am or what I do, I am Captain Diesel. And this is the Captain Diesel Dojo channel. I like to cover things from music, anime, comics, gaming. I've been doing a lot of comics lately just because that's what's been hot right now for me. And I try to just promote things that I think are dope and spread a little bit more positivity in the community. And the Captain's Lounge sessions are things that you guys can watch if you are more into like podcast style content where I'll bring in dope people like my man Anime Sunday here and we'll just chop it up about whatever. Try to have dope conversations here because, writing and scripting videos and then getting them edited is a lot of work. So if I can get some dope content off what I have to do as much background production like this, I will definitely do that for you guys. But again, I'd appreciate if you guys like the video, subscribe, and do whatever you want to do. But again, for anybody watching this and has watched this, thank you for every second of your time. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time if you want to be here. Again, This has been Captain Diesel, Captain Diesel's Dojo, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.